And welcome once again to another episode of S2E Productions Presents
J&M, Solve the World. I am James.
And I am Matt, and we are coming to you on location in St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Last night, we saw Pantera. We saw Metallica. We missed Mammoth WVH, but, you know, that sucks all around. In the makeshift studio that we have the one, the only, direct from Florida, Dwight.
What's up, guys and tens?
You need to talk into the microphone.
What's up, guys and tens?
There we go. Returning, we have Andrew.
You got the crickets.
Hello.
And newcomer, Ron. And back once again, James's grandson, the one, the only, thank fucking God, Cody.
What it do, baby boo?
Yeah, you got to lean up. There you go.
What it do, baby boo?
All right. For this podcast, I think we're going to do a review of the show.
Right.
Now, we will not be doing a review of Mammoth WVH because, well, we missed it. And I'm terribly upset about
What
that.
we heard walking in sounded
Oh,
good.
my God. What we heard walking in was fucking amazing.
Right.
But let's start with the band that actually brought us all here to begin with.
Right.
Pan motherfucking Terra. Now, we'll go around the room. Cody, what did you think of the show?
Well, considering it was my first metal concert, I have to say it was totally worth it. What was his name? Zach?
Wild?
Yeah, he was fucking going ham. He was definitely my highlight of the show.
Okay. Aaron?
Well, this is also my first concert, and I gotta say, I blew my fucking mind.
Way to pop your cherries, boys.
No shit.
Okay. Andy? Unfortunately,
Had technical issues with my email provider. So, didn't get to go.
You want to go ahead and name them and tell them to suck your dick?
Nah.
I
They know
will.
who they are.
Oh, I fucking will. I mean, because it's no skin off my back, but these motherfuckers need to figure their shit out because the man spent good, hard-earned money for 2 nights to see ultimate fucking bands, and because they want to be fucking pricks and not have 24-hour fucking help desk, they suck ass.
I could go on about their
Windstream.
service. Blows ass anyway.
Yeah.
Hey,
Did you get to hear any of it though?
no.
Damn it.
I took some videos for you.
But I have seen Pantera. Now, it's been, how long ago was that?
23 years. 23 years.
Seen
Yeah.
it in Ozfest,
So
Bonner Springs, Sandstone. But
yeah, you saw the Abbott brothers.
yeah.
And yes, amazing. Dwight, as the furthest traveling guest, what did you think of Pan motherfucking Terra?
Worth every inch of the mileage on the trip. It was fantastic. They did it right. They did it right. And me and you have been waiting to do this for 30-something years, and
Yeah.
just couldn't have been smoother, really.
I James?
We've been watching videos from cell phones for months now, ever since I
Yes.
started playing, and it's like, okay, that sounds pretty good. But, cell phone video, you're like going, But fucking live, my God. I mean, like you say, Zach, is just fucking wild, man. I mean, I could critique and go, well, he didn't play that exactly like Dime.
Right.
But he put his own flair on it.
Right.
He didn't fuck it up. Let's put
No.
it that way. I mean, it was pretty much spot on with his little Zachisms.
Well, and that's what he said from the beginning is he's going to pay homage to Dime, but he's going to do it his way.
Right.
He's playing wild audio guitars. He's playing out of wild audio amps. But
like you said in the past, he said when I cover
St. Rhodes,
and
Father Iommi.
Father Iommi, you know, he said I learned their shit, you know.
Yeah.
But what really impressed me, well, and I mean Charlie is just. What else can you say about Charlie on fucking drums? I mean, you thought Vinnie Paul was still alive.
Oh yeah.
And then, of course, Rex is fucking Rex. But goddamn, Phil's voice sounded fucking awesome.
You know, and
I mean,
that's
it sounded like 1990 Phil.
and that's well, I wouldn't go back that far.
Well, I mean,
he wasn't hitting the harmonies, but
it sounded better than about 3 years ago. Philip H. Anselmo and the
Illegals
Illegals doing
or
that
Super
song.
Joint.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was for me, it was, you know, like Dwight said, this is 30 and a half years in the making. We met in 29 Palms in 1993, and I'm like, bro, you got to check this band out. And I handed him the headphones to my Walkman and played him Vulgar Display of Fucking Power, and it fucking changed his life.
Yeah.
Actually, that end cap was I sat there on the
Yeah.
washing machine while the laundry spun, and man, life
And I mean,
changing.
you know, and we had talked about it for months leading up to that first Mexico City show. Phil's vocals.
Right.
I mean, because let's be honest, the reinventing the steel vocals, they weren't up to par.
Right.
I mean, that was more.
It was just more guttural screaming and what I always liked about Pantera and like Disturbed and stuff, they had that guttural scream, but you could always, if you wanted to listen, you could understand what they were saying.
Right.
You know, because I hate the Cookie Monster bands where you can't understand nothing that they're saying except for death, kill, blah, 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 you know.
That's
yeah.
actually pretty much most of the lyrics.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cookies. Wow, that almost sounded
yeah.
like they're fucking stroking a fucking cock meat sandwich.
Goggling,
Yeah.
solving and knobbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought his vocals were great. I mean, I thought the whole show was.
I mean, I thought it was awesome that Zach had that special. God, I can't even think of the name of his guitar, but he had it painted in the Dean from Hell style,
Right.
and it, you know, and there's a Floyd, and Zach does not play a Floyd, but I mean, and the best part about it is he was able to throw in those pinch harmonics that he's fucking known for.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, okay, yep. And again, on that big screen, it's like I was telling,
Big screens.
yeah, you know, his veins are popping out and he looks fucking huge. But when we met him in Kansas City,
He's
he's a shredded, cut fucking dude.
right.
But
He's about. I mean, he's maybe a little bit taller than me. I mean,
yeah,
not much. You know, he's 6'1", probably
Yeah.
6'2".
probably if you cut the beard and the hair, he'd probably spring up to like 6'5". But I mean, you know, here's this guy. He's been with Ozzy since 87, 88.
Something like that, yeah.
Toured the world, fucking been in movies. You know, he's got his own band that's fucking huge. But he took the time away from the band to walk over to us, standing in line, introduce himself, give you a handshake, give you a bro hug, and then escort you over to the band and introduce the band.
Yep.
I mean, this is Zach motherfucking Wild.
Yep.
And it's like, dude, I mean,
And I think that's why he fit in so well doing this Pantera thing.
Yeah.
Just because Pantera, they'll tell you back in the day, they are fans.
oh yeah.
You know, they don't think of themselves as these big rock stars. I
Right.
They're going to be after they do a show or before their show. They're going to be in the fucking pit. You know?
What was it? SoFi Stadium, when Jason Momoa was out in the crowd. Yeah, Zach was out there with Jason Momoa in the fucking crowd watching Metallica.
Yeah.
How fucking just.
And I can say from personal experience that Vinny and Dime especially were just phenomenal. Just come out and just was like, "What's up, man?"
I mean, Dime had an open invitation to anybody to, if they saw him at the clubhouse, that you guys would start drinking together. And if he drank you under the table, he's taking you back to his place and you guys are partying on. If you drank him under the table, you're driving him back to his place and you guys are going to continue to party.
Right.
Because, we had talked about it on the drive down from Kansas City, Damage Plan with Pat Lackman. He had that lead singer syndrome, and he hated it. And Rita has went on interviews and said that Dime had to play down who he was when Pat walked into a room. And it's like, this is Dimebag fucking Daryl, one of the greatest fucking fans of all time. I mean, he got to share the stage with Halford, with fucking Terry King.
Ace Frehley.
Oh, my God. And the fact that he was invited to join Megadeth by fucking Dave Mustaine.
Right.
And the only reason why he didn't do it is because David already hired Nick Menza.
Yep. Well, it's funny because Dave's talked about that, and he said, I called him and said, hey, I'd like you to come down and join Megadeth. And he's like, well, only if my brother can come. And he's sitting there going, okay, what is he, a guitar tech? No, man, he's my fucking drummer. It's like, well, I've already hired a drummer. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But,
I mean, as fans,
yeah,
we lucked out. Because if he'd have joined Megadeth, we probably wouldn't have had Pantera.
Right. As we know it.
And same way, if Dave Mustaine getting fired from Metallica, we wouldn't have had Megadeth.
Right.
So,
I mean, because Pantera was big in the club scene at that time in Texas with Terry Glaze.
and probably about that time is when our friends Naked Zoo were down in Dallas and fucking partied with Pantera, played with them and partied with them and shit.
But they were all over the place with playing the music from all the albums. And they didn't just like on Official Live. Rex started that dun 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 dun.
Matt was sitting 4 chairs from me, but I could tell he had a heart on at that point.
Oh fuck yeah!
It's that bass.
Oh, you hear that bass?
Strong like
you hear that fucking bass? But I mean, they did Domination right into Hollow, and Phil, I'm 100% glad to see that Phil is taking this 100% and giving 100% for the fans. He's reminding me of Henry Rollins.
Okay.
With the no shoes and the sleeveless shirt.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole time.
Phil's always been about half jacked, though.
Well, yeah.
Especially after Cowboys, and later on.
Oh, and Vulgar, and I mean, shit, Vulgar videos, and it shows him fucking working out and jumping rope and doing all that, and it's like,
you don't jump around on the stage like you used to.
No,
but when you've got a fused back.
That's I noticed that when they did the official bow,
right, that
he didn't bend over quite as far as everybody else.
But that was from years of jumping off of speakers and shit.
And it wasn't until recently that I actually saw photos of him jumping off fucking stacks.
Yeah.
I'd only seen him jumping off of drum risers.
Right.
But on the same sheet, he is no spring chicken.
No, right. But that's what led to his heroin was
his fucked up back.
Fucked up back. Right. And he couldn't take he couldn't afford to take the time off because Pantera was red fucking hot.
He didn't want to take the time off.
Well, true.
And he had Down and Super Joint going too, and he just wouldn't take the time off.
Yeah.
How would everything be different now if he did not come back from that overdose?
Oh, well,
Ever thought about that? That
this
timeline in the multiverse?
this show would have never happened. I mean, it almost never happened, and it's bad to say if Vinny hadn't have died. If Vinny was still alive, this show wouldn't have took place
No.
I believe the same.
because he never forgave Phil.
No. And Vinny, and here's the thing. Vinny never played a dime bash
Right.
that Rita put on every fucking year.
I mean, go ahead and finish your thought, but as soon as you're done, I want to
Dime Bash was put on by Rita every year around Dime's birthday, and it was a big celebration with musicians coming together, playing a big-ass fucking party. I think the last one, Dave Grohl, not only did he play, but he also smoked fucking meat,
Oh,
and he had his smoker going and everything, and he was feeding motherfuckers.
I thought you was going to say he smoked weed.
Oh, no. And I think I wanted to say the last one, like Phil was still with the Illegals, so his vocals were still kind of, but that was the one where you got Rex, Phil, Charlie, you had Scotty in, and John Giannis, the lead guitar player for Anthrax.
Okay.
So you had that 3/4 of what the kids are seeing now as Pantera,
Right.
and I don't think they could have chose a better drummer
Oh, yeah.
than
Charlie.
Charlie.
I was kind of disappointed. I seen a deal on Facebook or somewhere. It was Zach Sabbath tour coming
Yeah.
up, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah! And I'm like, son of a bitch, they're nowhere close. It's like mostly Europe and shit.
Yeah.
like East Coast and stuff. It's like, God damn it, that comes Kansas City, St. Louis.
Oh,
fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah! I want to see Zach Sabbath. I hate the fact that I never got to see Down.
Oh, you never got to
or
see Down?
Not, I'm sorry, not Down. Hell yeah!
Oh yeah, me too.
I never got a chance to see Kill Devil Hill when Rex was with him.
Yeah. I didn't-
And I mean, because that was like a throwback of Southern, like Texas style metal.
Almost
And
that, what they call the red dirt metal.
Yeah.
Like Texas
Yeah.
Texas Hippie Coalition.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
THC for you.
but Rex, this was like the Kill Devil Hill stuff was the first time he went back to a 4-string bass, and he was loving it, and it was just fucking awesome. Yes, Andy.
What was it that Vinny didn't forgive
So, supposedly,
about?
in an interview with Krang magazine in Europe, Phil was quoted as to say that Dime deserved to be beat within an inch of his life. And Vinny said that's what led to Dime's death. Now, here's the thing. No matter how fucked up Phil has ever been, he never once wished harm on any one of those guys. And because Phil never had that lead singer syndrome, because he didn't like to do, after a while, he didn't like to do the meet and greets because he was doing heroin. He had his own bus, and, he was recording his vocals in Louisiana and not in Texas.
It was its own special style
Yeah.
of lead singer
Right. Well,
disease.
to a point, but
Well, it was not,
He got the syndrome because he was fucked up on heroin.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It wasn't.
He was just hiding.
Yeah,
you
it
know.
wasn't an ego
But-
thing. He was just.
He wasn't
You know-
in his right mind, really.
Yeah.
right.
Right.
But Rita sat down with Phil, and when Phil got clean after Hurricane Katrina, and they had a sit down, and he explained everything to her. And as the executor and the torchbearer of Dimebag's estate, she forgave Phil. Now, granted, the day of the funeral, had Phil shown up, she said she would have shot him.
DRT dead right there. Yeah.
Right. Rex wasn't even allowed to go to the funeral.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because he was playing with Phil and down and stuff? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was sad, and it. Yeah. Anyways.
So what about the other half of the show?
Well, there was this other band.
Well, it was like that. The lead singer of that band said, you got to see Mammoth WVH, you got to see Pantera, and now you got to put up with this band called Metallica.
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 Yeah.
Metallica. Yeah.
Metallica.
Metallica.
And before we get into that, I think we all agreed on this, that nobody else but Metallica could have followed that.
Right.
Because when Pantera got done, I was like,
Fuck, yeah.
and it's like, all right.
Yeah, it felt like it was time to go home.
Yeah.
It's just like, there could be nothing
I'm
more.
done.
I mean, it's just,
You couldn't top it.
yeah.
Okay, the guy that was sitting in front of me in my chair, when we left to go find the merch booth and then made it back for Metallica,
Right.
he never came back to that seat. That seat stayed open for Metallica.
So he was there for Pantera, and that was it.
Apparently, but I mean, look, I'm not bashing anybody that bought the one-day ticket. When we got ours, they were only offering the 2-day.
Right.
Um,
But I'm glad we got him.
oh yeah,
I mean,
and even though we were up in the nosebleeds, if you will, it was still. Okay, so I couldn't see the pimples on Phil's face, even zooming in on my phone. I don't care.
but that's why they had those six cylindrical towers
Yeah.
around that was screens all the way around.
Yep.
And I learned a long time ago, like in '96, you're better off sitting up high at a Metallica show because if you want to see the whole show, that's where to be. If you're down close,
At Kemper, that was January of '97.
yeah,
Yeah.
whenever the fucking shit went sideways.
Oh yeah, the whole.
It was all planned, but
yeah.
we're all going, what the fuck? Because there's one of these big light towers, and it goes, "Arr!" And then this dude comes fucking swinging. He fell off one of the deals. Another guy goes running across the stage on fire. And we're like, what?
Yeah, that was
fuck?
nuts.
Yeah. And then, but then it was cool. Then after it was all said and done, there's like, what, 300 or 400 watt light bulbs kind of hanging from the
No, it
smaller-
was one.
Like,
It was one that came down, and it was like a 212, and a single.
and a little,
you know,
and a-
410 or-
it had like a little 5-piece drum kit. or
Yeah.
6-piece drum kit,
It was
And
just
James comes out and he goes, "What the fuck just happened?" And the PA's going, you just barely hear him. And he's like, "Can you hear us?" And we're like, "No." He's like, "Can you hear us? You want some more?" Yeah. And all of a sudden the PA goes whoop right back up, but they finished their set with this small
Yeah.
stage deal. It was cool.
kind of an intimate evening with Metallica, if you will.
Nothing like that happened in this. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
When they were actually calling it,
Still have tomorrow.
This is true. This is true.
when they were doing the Black Album tour and it was an evening with Metallica, you just reminded me. I remember we were in Orlando at the arena there, and I guess these people misinterpreted an evening with, because they showed up in he was wearing a tux and she was all like dressed to the nines and stuff, and they sat through the whole show. I give them that, but it was like,
Yeah, well,
did you notice all the leather on the way in?
I would have.
That's the thing about a Metallica show now, though. You're going to see guys our age and older.
Yeah.
You go to see young men like this and women.
Oh, they can't see you.
Yeah, if I had to lean back, my neck hurts from headbanging too much.
Yeah.
But then you're going to see all different types. You're going to see the leather clad, the fucking piercings, but then you're also going to see people dressed in a fucking polo shirt.
Did you see the
Insurance salesman looking people, you know?
Did you see the children? Like the little bitty small children that were walking out, like they did puppets and then the other song, and they started coming down, and I'm like, that's what I'm fucking talking about. Yep. And standing outside last night, saw a dad and like two of the small kids, like probably 6, 7 years old, and I'm like, that's what I'm fucking talking about.
That's one of the coolest things I think you see, and I remember like specifically, I think the time I noticed it most, I went to see Aerosmith in the '90s, and we were the younger crowd, and you had the older crowd, you had all this generation.
You go, look at all these old fuckers.
Yeah, it was like, that's cool, you know, and we're old fucks now, but that's fine too, man, because it just proves
we're the old guys at the bar now.
The lasting power of rock and metal, you know.
Right. You know, and that's what's cool, is because you think about rock music is not that old.
No.
I mean, country music is old as fuck. It comes from Irish and Scottish folk music and stuff like that. But rock music basically started in the 50s, guys. And the metal, Metallica, started in the 80s. That's not that long ago.
Well, I mean, you've got some that say it started in the late '60s with Sabbath,
and
Priest,
and Aerosmith, or not Aerosmith, but Zeppelin.
Yep.
You know, and somebody said something one time. They said Led Zeppelin or Metallica was the Led Zeppelin of the '80s. And I never was a big Zeppelin fan because my first wife, she hated Led Zeppelin, so I never listened to it. And then on the radio, they played 3 songs. But then when I done a deep dive and listened to Led Zeppelin, I'm like, and watched the behind the music and shit, I'm like going, you know, I can see the comparison there.
You know, that was
because they took hard rock
to
another stage.
Right.
Where Metallica took hard rock and made thrash.
And that's the thing, is the behind the music series really opened up a lot of eyes to music that you otherwise wouldn't listen to.
Right.
Like, I would not listen to Skynyrd because it was always Freebird,
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, Sweet Home Alabama.
Right.
You know,
even
was like,
even though the fucking guitar solo in Freebird is fucking awesome.
oh yeah,
It's been overplayed to death, though.
Exactly.
But then doing a deep dive, you know, just like you did with Zeppelin, doing a deep dive into Skynyrd after seeing the behind the music, and it was like, this fucking music is great. And I'm not a purist. I don't think that everything that came after Street Survivor's just junk. That ain't real Leonard Skinner. The fuck if it ain't.
Well, that's like the Metallica fans that say nothing was good after Injustice. Bullshit.
Yeah, no, there's you can find people split every different way over that.
I mean,
Man, ever since Metallica came out with that music video, they sold out.
Actually, when I was getting my sandwich on the way over here from KC, the girl, we were talking, and I had a shirt on, and she goes, yeah, when they did the Black Album, I got in some other, different metal, and she mentioned a couple bands, and I said, have you heard the last 2 albums?
Yeah.
And she goes, no. I said, they're back in shape. You know?
Yeah.
And actually, you could go back and say that about Death Magnetic, and St. Anger is not a terrible album.
It was just way different. With
That's
no
their
guitar
genre.
solos and But that was
The
their
spring's
choice.
not on the fucking snare, and it was
Right.
just that dead beat snare.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to metal was
Metallica?
And,
The Black Album?
The
Black Album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from there, I got to, going to like Hastings or whatever. I was like, ooh, no, I'll buy that one. Spend about $200-300 on CDs.
Well, see, that was the best thing about
And
Columbia.
loved it.
Yeah, that was the best thing about Columbia House back in the
fuck
day,
Yeah.
because you could.
I don't think I owe them any money. I don't think.
I don't give a fuck.
I got a record deal.
Yeah.
I bought my 15 CDs and then I was done.
I would.
That's how actually I got introduced to Metallica probably in '85.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, Metallica was not played on the radio.
Nope.
They had no music videos on MTV.
Nope.
I mean, I had a satellite where I watched MTV's top 10 videos, and in '84, 9 out of those 10 were hair metal bands. I mean, it was Def Leppard, fucking Poison, Motley Crue, Cinderella, yes, and that's what I was into. A friend of mine gave me a bootleg tape of Metallica, Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
And when I listened to that, I'm going, oh, fuck, I don't know. You know, it was just so much different. And then Columbia House sent me Kill 'Em All as a selection of the month.
Yes.
And it was the reissued one with the cover songs on it.
Yep.
And
With,
I started listening
Blitzkrieg
to that.
and I Am Evil.
Yep. Then I started
Or Am I
listening-
Evil?
Am I Evil?
Yeah.
I started listening to that, and I'm going, this is pretty fucking good. And then Chris, a friend of his, gave him Megadeth, So Far So Good, So What?
Ah, yes.
Because this kid had listened to it when they done Anarchy in the UK.
Yeah.
Opening line, I am an antichrist. And this kid's like, ah, and he freaked out, and he said, here, you can have this. And so we started listening to that, and it's like, from that point on, Metallica, Megadeth, it's like,
Yeah.
It was all downhill from there.
It was about 86, and I got Puppets. And I listened to it, and I'm like, holy fuck. You know, from the opening track,
you know,
Battery.
It might have been 86, because didn't it come out in 86?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been when I heard it.
Yeah. But, you know, with the opening riff of Battery, the gentle, like, classical guitars, getting into Orion, and it's just like,
Of course, Leper Messiah for me.
oh, Disposable, or Damage Incorporated. You know, Sanitarium. I didn't really realize that, but it was like very melodic, and I'm like, oh my god, this is fucking great.
Disposable Heroes was my intro because when we were my buddy Jeff,
Right.
yeah, you know, threw the tape in. It was on the B side. It was a little later after the fact. I got a late start on things, but yeah, and then you flipped it over, and I mean, we got through the whole album, and like, holy shit,
right.
like that's phenomenal. And to this day, that is the greatest heavy metal record ever.
You know what was funny? When they done Fade to Black last night, and
Yeah.
James said, this song is about suicide.
Yeah,
If you know somebody,
dude.
you need to talk, whatever. And I told him, I said, back when I was going through my dark times, going through divorces and shit, Fade to Black and In My Darkest Hour by Megadeth were two of my go-to songs to pop in. And I don't know what it was about them. I knew what they were about.
Yeah,
It didn't make me want to commit suicide.
No.
It helped me because I'm like going, there's other people out there thinking bad shit.
Exactly, it did
You know?
it did the opposite because it's exactly how you're feeling. It's like, okay, this is a good vent, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
But-
and then I'd pop in fucking Cowboys from Hell and go, fuck them bastards. You know?
you know, my thing with In My Darkest Hour is Davis said that was written about Cliff after Cliff died, but you actually listen to the lyrics in it, and it's like,
Well, that was the emotion it brought out in him after Cliff died, I would say.
yeah,
Just the loss and heartbreak
Yeah.
he was feeling, and that's, but it's, like I say, it's kind of weird, listen to two sad songs that are about suicide that makes you feel better,
yeah,
and it does,
and it's like
I mean, but
The-
wine is fine and whiskey's quicker.
suicide.
Slow with liquor.
But I mean, and that's the bullshit with Suicide Solution.
Mm-hmm.
It's given the solution, and
First of all, why would a band write a song that would make people kill themselves? Put backmasking in it to make them kill themselves? Because that's who's buying tickets and buying their records. That just don't make any sense.
Here's a better question, and maybe I was just too poor, but who is going to take a record on their record player and think about playing it fucking backwards, ruining the needle and or ruining the fucking record and then getting your parents to start beating your ass because, oh, I'm sorry, I'm Gen X, and I got my ass fucking beat if doing something stupid.
Because you screwed up a record that they bought for you.
Well, I mean, that they just looked at it like, we, and then they would take the record, snap it, and now you're really fucked.
Yeah.
Then you're done.
Yeah, and it's like, never thought about it. Or
If
we
you,
were
if,
just
if you have a 4-track player, it's pretty easy. You record on track 1, you play it back on track 2, it's backwards.
Or we were just too poor to have a record player, and it was always just cassettes.
Right.
Or I'm copying a cassette from a cassette. So there's no.
8 tracks.
Dude.
That's what I grew up on.
So.
And yeah.
I know this is completely
Sorry,
off
I did
topic.
not mean to dig up this rabbit hole. My bad.
Completely off topic, but I've got to say this. You know, they never made an 8-track recorder to where you could record on an 8-track cassette.
Right.
My sister somehow, and I remember this to this day, was able to record onto an 8-track.
Really?
She recorded the radio. It was like an Eddie Rabbit 8-track.
Okay.
But they were, Aerosmith was on there, and, Charlie Daniels Band, and just different shit was on this fucking 8-track. And then you hear the radio guy.
Dude.
And the...
I used to do that back in the day.
Sorry.
We had mom, dad's house. We had the stereo was in the living room.
Yeah.
And I'd sit there with the volume down really, really low with my head by the fucking speaker.
Oh, hell yeah.
And my fingers on the buttons,
Just in case.
waiting to hit record on a cool song that came on. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was, KBFL back then played some pretty good rock.
I mean, we did.
Well, this is before your guys' time.
I mean,
you were probably still sucking titty and shitting your diapers at that point.
Mom never,
J&M solved the rabbit hole.
Mom never breastfed us.
Oh, but you shit your diapers.
Probably. But I mean, you have to admit, we did play some fucking amazing music on KBFL.
Except when Chris was in love.
Oh my God.
What was that Firehouse song?
No, it was Steelheart. Love is on the way.
Well,
No.
Love of a Lifetime.
Yes.
Firehouse.
Oh yeah. And
Steelheart, I'll never let you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
By the way, I seen them in like 90 or something like that.
yeah.
That motherfucker could hit them notes up back then through the whole show.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
like,
Sebastian Bach was able to hit those notes.
go back to the Metallica Sebastian Bach.
Yes.
Popped in my head. Sebastian talks about the first time he ever seen the Kill 'Em All tape or album or whatever.
Yeah.
And he flips it over and he goes, "These are the ugliest fucking dudes I've ever seen in my life." Because everybody back then done the hair and makeup and shit.
Right.
Metallica is just fucking 4 dudes.
During one of them icon things or whatever, they might have been mentioned there too, but I think it was like Sean Penn or somebody was an actor, but he was like, in the early days, he's like, yeah, I seen the bus or the banner or what something said Metallica, and he's like, that's a shitty name, they'll never make it.
Yeah.
Little did he know.
Didn't Lars come up with that name, did he?
No.
What was it?
So he stole it. Yeah, he did. A friend of his was going to start making a newsletter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he had a list of names. And Lars was like saw Metallica, and he was like, that's fucking awesome. He's thinking to himself, that's fucking awesome. I want that name. Nah, this name fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, use this one over here.
yeah. And James was the one that
use-
came up with the logo.
The M's.
With the 3D logo and the M and the A.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and I mean it just fucking works.
Yeah.
The highlight of the show for the younger crowd had to have been Master of Puppets.
Right. Because the Stranger Things reference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But and I love the fact that Metallica embraced that whole thing. James dressed up as Eddie Munson for Halloween.
Yeah.
that year. I mean, with the hair and everything, because the actor, I believe, dressed up as Papa Het.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, that was cool. Now,
And I like the way they did it. You know, they played the old school stuff.
yes.
Then they go into the 72 seasons, Justice. You know, I mean, it wasn't. They didn't just. Okay, we're gonna play Kill 'Em All shit, and then I mean they mixed it up. But then you can sit there and go, yeah, especially when they played the 72 seasons.
Yeah.
Stuff, you're like going, yeah, they've got back to their thrash roots.
I think they're always pretty well rounded, and it was exciting because the last time I saw them, it was a 2-night deal, and I heard a lot of songs. That I'd never heard live before, and then last night there was 2, Orion and The Day That Never Comes, and never heard them play either one of those live, so that was cool. And really looking forward. Really, if you this will post afterwards, but yeah, hopefully
As we record.
Yeah.
Disposable Heroes. Hopefully we get that. So we'll see. But anything else off of Puppets, anything at all, they can just come out and do whatever, right? I mean,
I want to say we're probably all going to have tinnitus in both ears after tomorrow night.
Huh?
Oh, I already got it.
Except for me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it'll be all
I
right.
thoroughly enjoyed.
Poor, pitiful me.
Do what?
Windstream, you can still kiss my ass. Sorry. My bad.
you need to get that out. It's not healthy to keep it inside.
Yep.
Okay.
Cthulhu burrito.
Oh yeah,
Hard.
that was pretty awesome. You know, the thing that hit me with Orion is they didn't do it from the beginning because there's the part of Cliff, he's using the wah and everything, and it sounds like a guitar.
Doing the swells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what was it? What was that movie they did? It was a live concert movie, but a kid was
Through the Never.
yes.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, they're sitting there on the stage, and that was like the first time you get to see the actual band playing that fucking song with Rob, and it was like, fuck, that is awesome. But yeah, I mean, I love the fact during Fade to Black that he, you know, in the middle of it, he starts talking about suicide and everything. I was expecting him to give the number.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So,
if you are thinking about it, you're having a hard time, you need somebody to talk to, and you, for whatever reason, the number is 988. On your cell phone, you can text, you can call. Somebody is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 or 366, just depending. They are there to help. So there you go, 988.
That was our public service announcement.
Salud. Well, I think for review number 1, I think we've done pretty well.
pretty good.
Stay tuned. Review number 2 will come out obviously after this one, but we've got to get to show number 2.
There you go.
So,
What about our super band?
Oh, that's a different podcast.
Ignore that. We're going to have to cut that out.
bro, cuz bro.
Dumbass.
But on that
No, you're
note,
good.
you have just watched another episode of Stu Ham Productions Presents.
J&M, solve the world. I have been James.
And I've been Matt. And on behalf of D. White, Andrew, Aaron, Cody, you keep one fist in the gold, one foot in the gutter, and we will be seeing you.
Peace.